Aries, pause. Before you scroll away, ask yourself this. Why did this message stop you right now? Because something inside you already knows. The truth you've been avoiding is no longer willing to stay quiet. You've been strong for too long, Aries, holding your ground, pushing through, pretending it doesn't hurt. But here's the thing. When the universe wants you to rise, it doesn't whisper comfort. It reveals truth, suddenly, sharply, without asking permission. And yes, it may force you to walk away, not as a loss, but as a turning point. If this is resonating, don't ignore it. Let me know in the comments. I trust myself. Because what comes next isn't just a message, it's the beginning of a powerful shift you were always meant to step into. All right, stay right here with me. I want you to imagine that it's just us. No screen, no noise, just two people sitting in the quiet late at night when the world finally stops asking things of you. Aries, you didn't land here by accident. Not tonight, not now. There's a very specific kind of tired I hear in your energy, not the kind sleep fixes. It's the kind that comes from holding a line for too long, from staying strong when every instinct in your body has been whispering, this isn't right anymore. You're a fire sign. You were never meant to shrink yourself to survive. And yet, that's exactly what you've been doing. I can feel how long you've been bracing, jaw tight, chest guarded, heart working overtime, just to keep everything from falling apart. You told yourself it was temporary. You told yourself you could handle it. You told yourself just a little longer. But the universe has a way of speaking. When we stop listening to ourselves, it doesn't shout. It doesn't beg. It sends a signal that lands exactly where it needs to. And that's what this is. Not a warning, not a threat. A recognition. Because here's the truth most people don't say out loud. You don't get exhausted from pain alone. You get exhausted from pretending it doesn't hurt. There's something you've been carrying that was never meant to stay this long. A situation, a connection, a role you stepped into out of loyalty or love or responsibility. And slowly, quietly, it started to cost you yourself. I know you feel it. That heaviness behind the ribs, that subtle anger you don't let surface because you're afraid of what it might break. That sense that you're not fully here anymore, like part of your fire has been dimmed just to keep the peace. Aries, listen to me gently. Your strength was never meant to be a prison. Your endurance was never meant to be a punishment. When your soul starts to feel heavy, that's not weakness, that's intelligence. It's your inner compass saying, something here has crossed the line. And the reason this moment feels charged, the reason it feels quiet but intense at the same time, is because you're standing right at the edge of clarity, not the kind that explodes yet, the kind that gathers, like the air right before a storm breaks. Still, dense, electric. You don't need to force anything right now. You don't need to decide yet. You just need to stay honest with what your body already knows. Because the signal didn't come to scare you, it came to remind you. You are allowed to choose yourself without explaining. You are allowed to feel tired without feeling guilty. You are allowed to admit that something you once fought for no longer deserves your fire. And as you sit with that realization, as you let it settle instead of pushing it away, you may notice something shifting inside you. A subtle loosening. A quiet breath you didn't realize you were holding. That's where the story begins to change. Not loudly, not all at once, but in the exact moment you stop lying to yourself about what this has been costing you. And if you stay with me here just a little longer, you'll start to see how the truth doesn't arrive to destroy you. It arrives to clear the path for the version of you that's been waiting patiently on the other side of this wait. I want you to stay with me right here. Don't rush this part, because what we're stepping into now is quieter, heavier, more honest. Aries, you are not weak. You never were. But there is a kind of pain that doesn't roar. It doesn't explode. It sits in the background of your life like a low hum you've learned to ignore. And that's the pain you've been carrying. You kept showing up. You kept saying you were fine. You kept doing what needed to be done even when something inside you was slowly running out of fuel. I can hear it in the pauses you take, in the way your shoulders never fully relax, in that quiet irritation you swallow instead of speaking. This isn't about a single moment. It's about time. Time spent giving more than you received. Time spent protecting someone who didn't protect you back. Time spent explaining your feelings to people who kept misunderstanding them. And somewhere along the way, something sacred inside you got tired. There are signs of betrayal here, Not always dramatic, not always obvious. Sometimes it's subtle, a boundary crossed again and again, a loyalty taken for granted, a closeness that slowly turns into control. When it comes from someone you trusted, someone you opened your world to, it doesn't just hurt, it drains. And because you are Aries, you didn't fall apart outwardly. You held it in. You told yourself you would deal with it later. You turned the anger inward. You pushed through. But that kind of strength has a cost. You started waking up tired even after rest. Things that once excited you felt dull. Your spark dimmed just enough that you noticed it, but kept moving anyway. That silent anger you feel isn't rage, it's grief. Grief for the version of you that was more alive before all this. Grief for the trust you gave freely and didn't get back in the same form. And here's the part I want you to hear without judgment. This has been going on longer than you admit, long enough to wear down your confidence, long enough to make you question your instincts, long enough to blur the line between patience and self-abandonment. That doesn't make you foolish, it makes you human, but your soul keeps records, and it knows when something has overstayed its welcome. That tightness in your chest is not random. That quiet frustration is not you being difficult. It's your inner fire asking for air. And the reason this moment feels different, the reason it feels heavier but also clearer, is because you are nearing the point where truth no longer asks politely. Truth does not always arrive gently. Sometimes it comes like a shift in gravity. Subtle at first, then impossible to ignore. You don't need to accuse anyone right now. You don't need to confront anything yet. Just notice. Notice how tired you are of holding this alone. Notice how your body reacts when you imagine things staying the same. Notice how a part of you already knows this cannot continue unchanged. That awareness, that quiet recognition is the doorway. And as you stand there with one foot still in what you know and the other touching something uncertain, the air begins to move. Not loudly, not violently, just enough to let you feel that what's coming next will not be comfortable, but it will be honest. And once honesty enters the room, nothing false can stay standing for long. So, take a breath here. Let the weight speak. Because the truth you're about to face doesn't come to wound you. It comes to end the exhaustion and reveal what has been hiding behind your silence. Stay with me. Don't pull away now. Because this is the moment where the air changes. Not loudly, not dramatically at first. Just enough for you to feel that something you thought was solid has shifted under your feet. Aries, the truth doesn't always arrive with a warning. Sometimes it slips in quietly, through a message you weren't expecting, a call that lands at the wrong time, a sentence said too fast to be taken back, or sometimes it arrives in silence, a look that doesn't match the words, a pause that lingers too long, a feeling in your gut that suddenly makes sense of everything you've been carrying. And when it hits, it's not confusion you feel, it's recognition. That strange, almost calm shock where your body reacts before your mind catches up. Your breath shortens, your chest tightens, and somewhere deep inside, you think, of course. This is what it was. You're not surprised because you didn't know. You're surprised because you hoped you were wrong. That's the part no one talks about. The moment when the mask falls isn't explosive, it's clarifying. You see the pattern all at once, the inconsistencies, the emotional turns that never quite made sense, the way you kept adjusting yourself to keep things from breaking, and suddenly the image sharpens. This person, this situation, this dynamic, it isn't what it pretended to be, and I know that stings Aries, because you don't give your trust lightly. When you commit with fire, with loyalty, with your whole presence. So, when the truth shows itself, there's a brief moment where your world feels unreal, like the ground has shifted a few inches to the left and you need a second to steady yourself. But listen to me, carefully. Right after the shock comes relief, not joy, not celebration, relief. The kind that feels like finally setting down something heavy you've been carrying without admitting how much it weighed. That thought crosses your mind, quietly, almost apologetically. I knew this, I felt this, I just didn't want it to be true, and that realization is powerful, because it means your intuition never failed you. You didn't miss the signs, you weren't naive, you were patient, you were hopeful, you were trying to protect what mattered to you. The universe doesn't expose truth to humiliate you. It does it when you're strong enough to handle clarity. This moment, this sudden unveiling, is not punishment, It's alignment. It's the cosmos stepping in because you were about to stay somewhere that required you to keep shrinking. And now that you've seen it, you can't unsee it. You might wish you could rewind, go back to before this moment, before the knowing. But deep down, you understand. There's no going back to sleep once your eyes are open. You don't need to confront anything yet. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't even need words right now. Just honesty. Honesty with yourself about what this truth changes, about what it costs you to stay silent now, about how much longer you can live pretending this didn't just land. Because this clarity, this clean, sharp awareness is already rearranging your inner world, like furniture being moved in the dark. You can feel it even if you can't see it yet. And here's where the current starts to pull. Once truth enters your life, it doesn't ask for permission to transform it. It starts demanding space. Space for dignity. Space for self-respect. Space for the version of you that no longer negotiates with what hurts. You haven't made a decision yet, but something inside you has already stood up. And as that part of you takes its first breath, you begin to sense it. The next step is not a question anymore. It's a direction. And you're closer to it than you realize. Stay with me here. This is where the current turns. You're not running. I want you to hear that clearly. You're not escaping. You're not giving up. What's happening now is quieter than that, stronger than that. This is a moment of precision. Aries, there comes a point when staying costs more than leaving. Not dramatically, not all at once, but in small, invisible ways that slowly erode your sense of self. You feel it when you wake up and already feel behind. When your body shows up, but your spirit stays a step back. When you keep explaining yourself to people who benefit from misunderstanding you. That's not loyalty anymore. That's self-betrayal. And the universe does not let that go on forever. Walking away in this moment is not a loss of courage. It is courage finally being used correctly. You see, fire knows when to advance, but real fire also knows when to step back so it can burn clean again. So it doesn't waste itself trying to keep something warm that no longer holds life. If you stayed, you would keep shrinking. You would keep negotiating with your own discomfort. You would keep handing pieces of your energy to a place that cannot give it back. And that is why the leaving feels forced, not because you are weak, but because your soul has reached its limit of compromise. Yes, it hurts. It hurts because you cared. It hurts because you invested. It hurts because part of you hoped things could transform without this kind of rupture. But listen closely. This pain is sharp, not endless. It has an edge. It has direction. It is not the slow ache of staying somewhere that drains you year after year. It is the clean cut that stops the bleeding. There is a strange clarity that comes with this kind of departure. A calm underneath the grief. A sense that even though your heart is heavy, your spine feels straighter. That is power. The universe isn't asking whether you want to walk away. It already knows the answer your body has been whispering for a while now. The real question is simpler. Are you willing to choose dignity over familiarity? Truth over comfort? Your future over what once felt safe? Because the moment you take that step, something irreversible begins. Not immediately visible, not announced with noise, but the structures built on imbalance start to tremble. Things that relied on your silence start to wobble. Dynamics that only worked because you kept shrinking begin to lose their footing. This isn't punishment. This is gravity correcting itself. And I know part of you wants reassurance, wants to know what comes next, wants to see the whole path before moving your foot. But Aries, this isn't that kind of passage. This is the kind where you trust the strength of your legs before the road fully reveals itself. You don't have to burn bridges with anger. You don't have to make speeches or prove anything. Sometimes the most powerful move is a quiet exit made with a clear heart. And as you turn, as you loosen your grip on what no longer honors you, you may feel the ground give way for a moment. That's normal. What's falling now was already hollow. You didn't break it, you simply stopped holding it up. Take a breath here. Let that settle. Because as the dust begins to shift, as the space around you starts to open, you'll notice something unexpected. The collapse does not rush toward you. It moves behind you, and ahead there is room. Room for something real to rise once the old illusion finishes falling away. Stay right here. Let the dust settle for a moment. What's happening now might feel unsettling, but it's also honest in a way your body recognizes. Aries, when something collapses, it's rarely loud at first. It starts with a subtle cracking sound inside you, a realization that what you were standing on was never as solid as it looked. You didn't imagine it, you didn't exaggerate it, The foundation was already weak. There were things holding together your world that depended on silence, on pretending, on one-sided hope. And once you stepped back, once you stopped propping it up with your own energy, gravity took over. That's when the collapse begins. Not because you wished harm, not because you were cruel, but because truth does not support illusions forever. You might see things unravel around you now. A relationship that suddenly reveals its cracks. A work environment that no longer hides its imbalance. A social circle that feels strangely distant once you stop playing your old role. At first, it's confusing. Your nervous system stays alert. Your mind scans for danger. This is unfamiliar territory, and your instincts are sharp. But then, something unexpected happens. You breathe. For the first time in a while, your chest opens without effort. Your shoulders drop. The pressure eases. And you realize that what's falling away was weighing on you more than you admitted. The chaos doesn't rush toward you. It moves outward, away, because what's collapsing now was never nourished by truth. It was sustained by your endurance, your patience, your willingness to carry more than your share. And when that stops, there is nothing left to hold it together. The universe doesn't destroy what is real. It clears what is rotten so life can return. I know there may be moments when you question yourself, moments when nostalgia softens the edges of memory, moments when you wonder if you should have stayed a little longer. That's human. But notice this. Notice how, even in the middle of uncertainty, there's a quiet sense of relief moving through you, like stepping out of a crowded room into night air. The city's still humming behind you, but the stars finally visible. This is the space most people avoid, the pause after collapse. The emptiness that feels uncomfortable because it isn't filled yet. But Aries, this space is sacred. It's where new life waits. Nothing grows in clutter. Nothing honest is built on cracked ground. What you're standing in now is not loss. It's clearance. An open field where your fire can breathe again without being used to keep something else alive. You don't have to rush to fill it. You don't need answers yet. Let the quiet do its work. Let your body relearn what calm feels like. Let your instincts recalibrate without constant noise. In this stillness, something ancient in you wakes up. Not anger, not urgency, purpose. A sense that whatever comes next must be rooted in truth, mutual respect, real exchange. You're not rebuilding the old structure. You're preparing the ground for something entirely different. And as the dust continues to fall behind you, as the echoes fade, you may start to feel it. A subtle warmth returning to your chest. A flicker of excitement that doesn't demand anything yet. Just possibility. That's the seed. It doesn't announce itself loudly. It waits until the space is ready. And as you stand there, between what has ended and what hasn't fully begun, you'll sense a shift in the air. Not chaos this time. Movement. Like energy gathering. Like something aligning quietly before it rises. And when it does, it will meet you exactly where you are now. Stay with me as the air warms. You may not notice it at first, but something is already returning to you. Quietly. Naturally. Like circulation coming back to a limb that fell asleep. Aries, after you let go, after you stopped holding what was never meant to be carried alone, your mind begins to clear. Not because everything is solved, but because the noise has thinned. Your thoughts move again, not in circles, forward. Your body feels lighter in small ways. You breathe deeper without trying. You wake up with a little more presence. Your steps feel anchored again, like you are back inside yourself. This is your fire remembering its shape. You see, your energy was never gone. It was tied up, redirected, spent maintaining things that required constant effort just to stay standing. Once that effort stops, the return is fast. Ideas begin to surface when you least expect them. In the shower, while driving, in the space between two breaths. They do not ask permission, they simply arrive. A possibility you had not considered before. A direction that suddenly feels obvious. A solution that clicks into place without force. This is not luck. It is alignment. When you create space, life moves in to fill it. Aries is not a sign of waiting. You are a sign of momentum. And once your path clears, the current accelerates. You might feel the urge to act again, to initiate, to lead, to make a decision without second-guessing yourself into exhaustion. That instinct returning is important. It means your confidence is rerouting itself, not in ego, not in proving anything, but in clarity. You remember how to trust your timing, how to read the room without absorbing it, how to move without dragging the past behind you, and things start responding to that shift. Conversations flow more easily. Opportunities answer faster. People show up with a different tone. It feels like doors opening just as you approach them, not because you are chasing, but because you are finally walking in the right direction. There is an ease to this phase that may surprise you. You expected struggle, resistance, another battle. Instead, you find cooperation. This is what happens when your energy stops leaking, when your fire is no longer divided. Still, I want you to move gently here. Momentum does not mean rushing. It means knowing when to step forward and when to let things come to you. Your leadership returns now in a quieter form, more grounded, more discerning. You no longer need to convince anyone of your worth. You feel it, and that changes everything. What unfolds next may move quickly, faster than you imagined, but you are ready for that pace. Because this time, you are not carrying unnecessary weight. You are not negotiating with doubt. You are acting from truth. And here is something else you may begin to notice. You are not alone in this shift. Support appears in subtle ways. A conversation that lands at the right moment. A person who understands without explanation. A sense of being met where you are, not saved, not rescued, accompanied. That is important. Because the next phase is not about survival. It is about expansion. And expansion works best when energy moves in harmony, when timing aligns, when intention is clear. So, take a moment here. Let this new rhythm settle into your bones. Notice how quickly your light responds when you stop dimming it. Because what is opening now is not just a new opportunity. It is a new way of moving through your life. And as you step into that momentum, as your energy gathers speed with purpose, you may sense it. The presence beside you, the quiet assurance that you do not have to do this alone. That awareness will matter more than you realize as the path ahead begins to reveal itself. Stay close to this moment. There is something gentle moving toward you now. You may feel it before you understand it. Like a warmth at your back, like the sense that someone has stepped into the room without making a sound. Aries, you were never meant to walk this stretch alone. Not because you are incapable, but because even the strongest fire burns steadier when there is air moving around it. Support arrives differently at this stage. It doesn't rush in with drama. It doesn't announce itself loudly. It shows up quietly. At the exact moment, you no longer feel desperate for it. It might be a person who listens without trying to fix you. Someone who speaks a sentence that lands deeper than they realize. Someone whose presence reminds you of who you are when you are not bracing. This is not rescue. This is recognition. The universe does not send help to save you. It sends help to walk beside you once you are strong enough to stand on your own feet again. And that difference matters, because now you are choosing connection from clarity, not from need, not from fear of being alone. You will notice how different that feels in your body. There is no tension in your chest, no tight grip on outcomes, just a quiet openness. At the same time, something else is being asked of you, not as a test, as an invitation. Care for your body like it is sacred, because right now, it is recalibrating. It has been in survival mode for a long time. Now it needs rest to learn safety again. Sleep when you are tired, eat when you are hungry. Step away from places that drain your nervous system. This is not withdrawal, this is restoration. You are restructuring your energy from the inside out, and that requires tenderness. There may be moments when old environments feel too loud, when conversations feel heavy, when certain people no longer fit the frequency you are holding. That is not judgment, that is discernment. You are learning to protect your fire without hardening your heart. And in this protected space, support does something beautiful. It mirrors you. You begin to see your own strength reflected back without distortion, without competition, without conditions. That reflection heals parts of you that didn't even know they were waiting. You might feel gratitude rise unexpectedly, not because everything is perfect, but because you finally feel accompanied instead of misunderstood. This is what alignment feels like, not fireworks, not constant joy, but steadiness. A sense that the ground beneath you is no longer shifting unpredictably, that you can pause without everything falling apart. And as this support settles around you as your body softens into trust, again your vision begins to stretch forward. You start sensing what this entire journey has been preparing you for. Not just relief, not just peace, but a new way of standing in your life. one where you do not abandon yourself to belong, one where you do not overextend to be loved. The presence beside you now is not the destination. It is confirmation. Confirmation that you are moving correctly, that your timing is precise, that the universe has been watching closely and responding in kind. And as you take this in, as you let yourself feel supported without surrendering your autonomy, you may notice something forming quietly ahead. A sense of completion, of integration. The understanding that everything you have walked through has been shaping you for this next threshold. Not a return to who you were, but an arrival into who you have become. Stay with that feeling. Because the story is not ending here. It is gathering itself, preparing to close one final circle. And when it does, you will recognize the moment not by noise, but by peace. Stay here with me for a moment longer. This is the quiet after the long walk. The place where you finally stop looking over your shoulder and start feeling your own weight on the ground again. Aries, this is not just you getting past something painful. This is you stepping into a different altitude of your life, one where things feel steadier, clearer, more honest. You can feel it already, not as excitement, as balance. Your emotions are no longer swinging between extremes. They settle. They make sense. You are not numbing yourself anymore, and you are not burning yourself out trying to stay strong. There is a calm confidence returning to you now, the kind that does not need approval, the kind that does not rush to prove anything. Your sense of worth starts to root deeper, not in what you give, not in how much you endure, but in who you are when you stand still. And that changes how you move through the world. You begin to notice how easily you say no now, not sharply, not defensively, just clearly. No longer feels like rejection. It feels like alignment. You stop negotiating your limits. You stop explaining yourself to people who were never listening. You stop bending to fit spaces that were never built for you. This is not arrogance. This is self-respect settling into your bones. And with that, stability begins to form around you. Not overnight, not magically, but naturally. Your life starts to respond to the way you are showing up now. Your work reflects your clarity. Your relationships feel more mutual. Your time feels more your own. You are no longer surviving your days. You are inhabiting them. This is the kind of rise that does not make noise. It does not announce itself to the world, but it changes everything quietly. You carry yourself differently. Your eyes meet the world without flinching. Your posture speaks before your words do. You trust yourself again. And that trust becomes the foundation for what comes next. You understand now that the truth did not force you to leave to punish you. It did it to free you, to move you out of a life that had grown too small, too heavy, too compromised. The leaving was the doorway, but the choosing was yours. You chose to step into a life that requires honesty, that rewards courage, that meets your fire with respect instead of resistance. And here is something important I want you to hold close. This version of you was not created by accident. It was forged through patience, through loss, through the moments when you kept going even when you felt unseen. You did not lose time. You gained wisdom. You did not fail. You refined your strength. This chapter you are entering now does not erase what came before. It integrates it. You take the lessons, you leave the weight, and as you stand here with your feet firmly planted in this new ground, you may feel a quiet pride rise in your chest. Not loud, not dramatic, just steady. Because you know something now that you did not know before. You can walk away from what diminishes you, and you can walk toward a life that honors you. That is power. So as this story closes its circle and opens another just beyond the horizon, remember this. The truth forced you to leave, but you chose to rise. And this life you are stepping into is stronger because you are. Aries. Before you go, let me leave you with this. If your heart feels quieter right now, that is not weakness. That is truth settling in. Not every ending needs closure from the outside. Some endings happen the moment you finally trust what you feel without needing permission. What you just listened to was not meant to scare you. It was meant to remind you that your fire was never gone. It was just waiting for honesty to feed it again. And here is the part that may surprise you. The universe does not test you when you are fragile. It tests you when you are ready. That sudden truth, that moment you could not unsee, that decision you knew you could not delay. It was not the end of your story. It was the moment your story stopped lying to you. If this message found you tonight, take it seriously. Not with fear, with respect. Because Aries, you are not here to live half awake. You are here to lead your own life with courage, clarity, and heart. If this resonated, write in the comments, "I trust myself," not for me, for you. And if you are ready to keep walking this path with people who understand your fire, subscribe, stay connected. This is not a one-time message. The journey is continuing. Another layer is coming, and the next message will meet you exactly where you are next. Until then, stand tall, breathe deep, trust what you feel. You are not leaving anything behind. You are stepping forward. And Aries, this time, you are doing it as yourself.